Ole!
Ole!
Welcome to the Trisbrina Show. Well, today we've got a question for you.
I'm Brina.
And I'm Tris. Guess that's the Trisbrina. Welcome to our channel. This is our weekly date night show. And we're diving into how do you break free from those things that just keep you stuck. Here's the deal. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a problem where you just couldn't find a way to solve it? Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried something where you just were like, this sucks. I can't find a way out of this.
And maybe there isn't a way out. Like, there's no solution.
None. Zip, zero. Here's what Albert Einstein said. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that we used to create them.
Let's repeat that.
We cannot solve our problems from the same thinking that we used when we created them.
Which is what we usually do, right? We're stuck in the problem and we're rehashing and rehashing and rehashing, looking for the solution. But Albert says...
Albert says we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that we used when we created them. In other words, you cannot solve a problem from the same state of consciousness that is creating it, the same vibration that is perpetuating it. And that's what we're going to dive into today on the Trisbrina Show. How do we get out of these looping cycles, and what do we do with the energy, the vibration? So, Miss Sabrina, this was your topic for this week. Why don't you
It's Albert's topic.
It's Albert's topic. Why don't you kick us into gear?
Yeah, I really love this conversation because I think it's so valuable.
Yep.
If you just pause for a minute and think about everything that we label a problem, whether it's a really big problem or a really small problem, we get so focused on the problem.
Yep.
Let's say it's my knee hurts. That could be a problem, right? My knee hurts, my knee hurts, my knee hurts. And yet you're seeking relief. You're seeking a healing. You're seeking how to work around it. You're seeking someone that can provide a solution. You're seeking a solution from the problem. But when we're in, let's just talk about vibration. When you're in the vibration and the thoughts and feelings, and that is the frequency that you're emanating, like attracts like. So when I am emanating the song of my knee hurts, my knee hurts, my knee hurts, I'm going to attract more frequencies like that, more frequencies in alignment with the knee hurting. And yet I'm seeking a solution to the problem. So that's really a quandary.
Well, it's two separate vibrations, right?
Two totally separate
states of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. So what do? Well, you kind of got to leave it alone. You can't focus on the problem. You can't be in that frequency. So it's really a tough jump from my knee hurts to my knee doesn't hurt. So maybe you need to just focus on something else. Maybe you need to focus on overall feeling good. Maybe you need to focus on what we call your energy engine. Maybe you need to focus on your alignment to source. Maybe you need to focus on raising your vibration. Maybe you need to meditate so you stop all the thinking and you can tap into ideas that you haven't had access to because we're so focused on the vibration of the problem, so that the solution is available. Because you can't see the solution when you're in the vibration of the problem.
Yeah, it's colored glasses. All you see is what the color of the glasses are. I remember when my back was hurting real bad back in the day, and I went to the doctors, and they took those things called x-rays, and then they said they've got to investigate deeper and do the MRIs and all of that stuff. And they said, there's the problem, and they focused on it for me, and I focused on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
And so now my brain was so focused visually and vibrationally on this is the problem. And the more I focused on fixing the problem, guess what? The longer it stuck around. Now sometimes, and I get this because there's people who are going to say, yeah, but you can't stick your head in the sand. You can't just pretend. What are you going to just live in denial? That's where this gets tricky, right? Because you're like, well, wait a minute. There is a problem, right? I'm hurting. I'm in pain. We're not saying ignore it. We're not saying deny it. We're not saying run away from it. We're saying that to solve it, something has to change. Yes, identify it. So had they helped me, these doctors back in the day, now even though this is the condition and we think that this is the problem, turns out it wasn't the actual problem. There was more to it. It has to do with energy. But let's just say that we think this is what it is. Now let's shift your focus into a different state of consciousness that can allow for healing. But they don't think like that. They just kept focusing and focusing and focusing on the problem.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times with our business, we are working on a strategy. We're working on what's a funnel? A funnel where we invite people to something and then they go through this sequence of invitations or these series of opportunities that they can say yes or no to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes like we hit the wall, like this doesn't feel good, this doesn't work. And so many times we say, okay, I say like, let's erase the box that we've put it in. Let's let go of everything that we've thought about it previously. Let's let go of how we have planned for it to go. And if we didn't have all of the ideas of what it had been and all the plans of how it would be, and we were just in a completely unknown, what might we think of? And those have been some of our greatest advances outside the box. And that's why sometimes someone that doesn't know a whole lot about your particular thing can come in and sometimes say like, well, what about this? Because they don't know it's impossible. Or they don't know it's not the norm, or they don't know. They're not wrapped
up in the problem.
Yeah, they don't know that's the thing.
Right. Yeah, it's really...
Because if you go to a chiropractor, it's very likely they will tell you that your problems are your bones are not aligned. If you go to a massage therapist, they're going to tell you that your muscles are tight. Like the expert that you go to will diagnose that. Well, so how can they all be right? Because they're all solving the problem in the same way. But can you step like outside of all of that and seeking the solution from a place of focusing on more the solution already exists in the future version of myself? I don't have this problem. And how did I get there?
I love that question because your subconscious mind gets to fill that one in. There was a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind that I read years ago, and I really loved this one exercise by Joseph Murphy, the author of the book. And he said, go into the future and be there in the solution. And imagine that someone comes up to you that knew you when you had the problem, like a little kid or somebody you were mentoring, your child or something, and they said to you, hey, for example, Dad, remember when you had all those problems, right? You were addicted to this thing, or you were fighting with this person, or your business was struggling, and now look at you, you're in this incredible place. How did you get there? And what it does is it forces you to shift your state, shift your consciousness into solution consciousness, which is where all of the magical, mystical, mysterious things start to pop up for you. Because if you've ever been so looped in a problem and you're, like you said earlier, whatever you focus on, you said it in a different way, but it's going to expand. Well, that's because we're just so dialed in.
Like attracts like.
Like attracts like. That's what you said. And that is true, right? So that thing's expanding, that thing's growing, and you're creating an identity around that. And so your identity is like those glasses you talked about. You're looking through that lens, and that's all you start to see and all you continue to attract. That's the problem, and that's why you can't solve the problem. So you said something like change your what you're doing. Did you say go pet your cat?
I didn't, but you can.
You can do that. Well, sometimes it's like I go and take a nap if I'm like really struggling with something.
When you're in the middle of the problem and you can't find the solution.
I'll take a nap. I'll go work out. I'll go for a walk. I'll go and do some qigong. I usually don't go to sit to meditate unless I've already done movement, then meditate. Because here's why. If you're in a problem, you go to sit to meditate, usually your mind goes, oh, this is a really good opportunity for us to think about this and hash through this, right? So it's not always the best time to meditate.
To think about what a big problem it is.
Although meditation is the ultimate form of releasing back into a state of consciousness that can find the solution. So I would say don't abort that mission, but find a way into that works for you.
Yeah. It's something as simple. Here's a very, very simplistic example. You need to make chocolate chip cookies. And you
keep doing the cookies thing.
You don't have a lot of...
I love cookies.
And you don't have a lot of time, right? And you have a limited rack space in your oven, and you need to make cookies, but there's limited time. How are you going to have time to put the cookies in the rack, take them out, cool them, put more cookies on those pans, put them in and cool them? And you can't figure out how to do that, when maybe the solution was you make cookie bars. You put the cookie dough in a brownie pan and you slice them, right? It's a totally different solution to the problem you thought you were solving. But while you're calculating the math of how many minutes is it and how much do I have to, and how long does the pan have to cool, you will never see, oh my gosh, I could just put this dough in a brownie pan and cook it and slice it and serve it in a different shape. Because it's a different solution to the problem you think you have. It's as simple as that sometimes, because the solution that we seek is not the solution that the one who is thinking about the problem thinks will be the solution. That's what's so amazing. That's why meditation, like Tristan was saying, is so beautiful. Because when you can stop thinking about all the things and just be a listener for a moment and let everything cool off and everything dissipate and just be an empty vessel and just be a yes, all of a sudden these ideas can come. Like, oh,
right.
I could use that brownie pan.
Shifting state.
That never occurred to me. It's so simple.
Right.
Right? The solution, if the problem exists, the solution exists, but not on the same station. Right? If the problem is on the hip hop station and the solution is on the classical station, you have to tune in to a different station.
Have you ever done this where there's 9 things going great, but there's one thing that's just irritating the crap out of you? And because it's irritating, it's got your attention and it pulls you into focusing on it.
And it's very important to focus on it because it's irritating you.
It's so important to fix it. And now,
as fast as possible.
You have all this wonderful stuff going on, but this consumes you.
Oh my gosh.
Some of us are living that right now, and we need to stop it. Okay? Shift and focus. It could be the other way. There could be 9 things that suck. Big old pile of suck, as Sabrina says. Just really bad. And some of us are experiencing that right now. But there's one thing that's good. Right? That's why people tell you, find that one gratitude, that one thing you can feel good about. And if you were to just focus on that, what we said earlier, what you focus upon expands. You have to practice the art of almost like ignoring the other stuff and honing in incessantly on that one thing. That's what I had to do with back healing. I had to find a win and hone in on it. And I'm serious about this. There were a lot of other things that were sucking the big one. The things the doctors are saying, my medical bills, losing my students, like a lot of suck. But I felt freedom in this one movement.
Yeah.
And then I discovered this way of breathing that caused my body to be more open. And I journaled it. They were my breadcrumbs, and they were my solutions, and they were my new vibration. And guess what shifted? My identity upgraded because I shifted my consciousness. One moment at a time, one win at a time, one little minor breakthrough. But guess what happened? I built momentum. And then I had a freaking avalanche of wins. And then I was unstoppable. And all that other stuff, all the 9, became a little 1, a little 2, and I was rocking over here. 8s, 9s, 10s. And every now and then a little one of those comes. And here's the thing that's so interesting. It could suck you back in if you go for that one little thing. And even on a neurological level, you could fire up all those old atrophied neural networks. But not if you've trained yourself to be incessantly happy and positive and be one of those sunshiny people.
That irritate that
irritate
crap
the crap
out
of the
the
people in the
with
problems. Be that person.
I love that. In order to find the solution, let me just say problem isn't necessarily a big word, right?
No.
A problem is just anything
Could be a good thing.
that doesn't feel great in your life.
Catalyst.
Anything that doesn't feel good, right? We could call that just something out of the vibration that we want to be in. That's what we're labeling a problem. We're not saying like the biggest, darkest, heaviest problem of your life. We're just saying anything that doesn't feel great that you want to change the frequency of. For me, when I am drowning in the problem, when I'm swimming in the problem, I actually am not in the hope that there's a real solution. I think it's maybe a pretend solution, a fake solution, a solution that works for other people, not specific to my problem. My problem's very different. And I'm absolutely not in faith. I'm absolutely not in the vibration of faith that says, although there's no evidence, I know that only good things happen to me and a solution is on the way. I'm not in that either. And when I'm in the problem, I am not in the vibration of possibility. So really, all we have to do when we're in a vibration of something we don't want, which we'll call a problem, is just shift into a vibration in alignment with possibility. With possibility and probability and faith, and the solution will appear. And sometimes it won't be, poof, this is the solution. It will just be all of a sudden you're on a different path. And the example that I'll give with this is my history with struggling with eating disorders. I remember thinking for so many years, will there ever be a night that I go to bed that I don't hate myself because of what I did or didn't eat? That I didn't do like a rap sheet of everything that went into my body and what was good about it and what was bad about it and how worthy was I of love and did I attain and was I winning or was I losing? And I remember, I so clearly remember thinking, I was probably 19, I wonder if there'll ever be a night that I go to sleep peacefully.
Wow.
I remember thinking that.
Wow.
That's so sad, isn't it?
I'm sorry you went through that.
No, it's made me who I am. And I didn't find a solution to that self-judgment and that idea that I needed to be some form of perfection in order to be loved. I just started expressing myself in creative and loving ways. This relationship was having more of my attention than the attention on how I wasn't perfect. Growing a business and teaching and helping others became more my focus. I don't ever remember solving that problem specifically. It's just, it faded into the background.
Yes.
It simply went away.
Wow.
Because my self-worth was no longer based on fixing that problem. I didn't have, this new person doesn't have that problem.
That's
I don't
huge.
need to fix it.
The new person doesn't have that
This
problem.
new person, this Sabrina doesn't have that problem.
That's huge.
Doesn't occur to her to do any of that. That stuff's freaking crazy to this Sabrina.
You said something so important. It's like those things just faded away.
Just went away.
They can't fade away, though, if you keep checking to make sure that they're gone. Did I get over that yet? It's almost like you wonder, wow, where did that go? Well, who cares? Right? Like transformation sometimes happens,
Yeah.
but you don't see it. Usually your friends see it. Oh my gosh, what happened? Did you get a haircut? You know, like they hadn't seen you in a while. Oh my gosh, what happened? Did you cut away all of that
Yeah.
self-judgment?
You look so fresh. What's going
You
on?
seem so happy. What up? And you're like, oh, I forgot to focus on that person. I shifted my consciousness into a new vibration. It's so beautiful. And also not to be concerned or worried about problems because solutions lie inside problems.
Yeah.
There are great breakthroughs, great expansions, great up levels that happen because of the problems.
Yeah.
Problems are just, they're definitions about what's happening when your world's shifting and you're going through some kind of contrast, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you're moving from one state to another and it's irritating. We call that a problem. What if that's not a problem? What if that's expansion and just the way that you experience it, like a snake shedding a skin or a caterpillar becoming a butterfly? It seems like this is a problem. Houston, we have a problem. I'm losing all my skin. No.
Yeah.
No. This must happen for you to expand. So let's stop judging our problems.
Because I did try, I really worked on the, let's say, eating disorders. There's, it's an addictive personality. I went to Overeaters Anonymous, where there were anorexics and bulimics and compulsive overeaters. I read the books. I kept the calorie journal. I did all the things, but what that was doing for me was keeping me looping in that mindset that somehow my worth had something to do with the way my body looked. So it wasn't until I focused completely on something else that I forgot about it. I heard a teacher once say, stop trying to clear the pipes, just put in a new one. Like that pipe's clogged up. Why are we so focused on clearing out that broken, old, rusty pipe when we can just have a new one sometimes? And that's what I feel like I did. I can speak so freely about things that I've been through because it's not me.
Right.
It's a different identity, and that's so beautiful. I don't feel shame for the things that I've been through. I feel gratitude for being able to continue to grow, and that who I am is from going through all these amazing things and all of this contrast and all of our struggles that we've been through to be who I am right now. That's why I think when we all just share so freely and so openly, we can help each other so much because we're all going through something, right? We all have something in our lives right now that we're labeling a problem or a tightness or something that could use expansion, and we're all seeking this expansiveness that we might be labeling a solution, but sometimes the answer is to cut it. And you can't focus on the cutting of it either. You just have to focus on what you love more.
Isn't this a great conversation? Isn't it wonderful to have these uplifting dialogues?
Yeah.
When there are so many other dialogues going on around us. This is the positive news station. This is the reminder of our power and our potential. We, hang out in the kitchen in the mornings as we're doing our to-dos.
Our hour-long morning to-dos.
And these are the conversations that we have. And I remember years ago we were like, we should have these conversations online. And that's kind of what birthed the Trisbrina Show, is just like we're hanging out, having a talk about the things that light us up and helps us stay on the path. And it's wonderful to read all the comments that are coming in right now. Just want you guys to know that we're always reading them and vibing and riffing off what you're saying. There's so many beautiful ones. I'm going to pop a couple in right now just so you guys can see them. There's one from Nancy. I really think that's important, Nancy. This must happen so that I can expand, right? We don't have to stay stuck in it, but we can use it to expand whatever the thing is.
So we can see the tightness.
Hope is really vibrating with what you're sharing, Sabrina. So healing. I love that. I love this. Marcia says, I like to consider problems as opportunities.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it? And this is beautiful. Bonnie says, sometimes transformation happens when we aren't looking.
Yes.
Like falling in love. You guys are amazing.
Yeah. There was I'm sure the same thing with you, but there were a few years of my life that had so much insanity.
I was there. It was crazy.
If I told you, I don't even know.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Major upgrades.
When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and who I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. And
who you wanted to do?
And
I guess that was me.
Going so many identity questions and feeling like I had invested so much time. I had invested so much time into being really good at something and being top of my game at something. And in order to shift and turn over here, I'm not coming in at top of the game over there, and yet that's what I'm feeling called to do. So sometimes the problem is the fear of not being top of the game anymore. And so much of the stuff that we did when we left our face-to-face classes to go online, and when we left our lives that we had separately to come together, and there was a lot. There was a whole lot, and there were times that were emotional because it can feel like you're grieving. When you've invested so much time into something, into being praised and being so excellent at something, and then realizing, but I'm complete with that, and I'm going to move into something that I'm not that good at, and in a whole new adventure. I think that's the most courageous I've ever been in my life. Because of the identity of needing to be good at something, is the number of times that I've walked away from being admired for being good at something.
Like being an actress.
Like being an actress, like being a model, like being this ballroom dancer, like being this head of a charity, like and walking away, it's like, well, who am I going to be? Who am I going to be? I've shed so much. There's like no snake left under all these skins.
And yet there is.
And then
more.
this trust that who am I going to be is me. Me.
That's who you're going to be.
Digging for me.
Ooh, this is so good. So we're shaving away the identity that you are what you do.
Yeah.
And rather you are who you be. And that's the path of the soul, to keep peeling away the layers until you can just be. And then the being can show up however the being wants to show up and is not defined by what he or she does.
Yeah. Whew.
Amen on a Thursday.
And then the opposite of that, or parallel to that, are people who choose to not try to excel at anything. Right? And that's who they are. I don't want that kind of pressure. It's the same thing. It's the same ego.
I find it incredibly enriching to be around people who are able to be themselves no matter what they're doing. And they're not defined by their actions. They're defined by their consciousness. And I find those people are incredibly flexible. They're spiritually flexible. They're spiritually fit. And they can frickin' do whatever they want. They are shapeshifters. They can manifest like mofos. They can attract the most incredible things because their energy is so pure and so aligned, and they're so receptive, right? When you're trying to be something that you're not, or you're trying to put on a false identity or even a persona, you're not your full potential. I mean, you might be awesome, but there's more. But when you really get down to that raw, real you, that blended version of you with the divine, man, you can show up lit up however you want, and it's easy for people like you. And people want to be around that because it's an emanation of what they are. And it's very attractive. It's easy to get a job. It's easy to get in a relationship. It's easy to be part of things because that energy is so contagious. And so praise your problems if they birthed this level of consciousness. Praise your problems that birth this new higher vibration
and
in
your
you.
Solutions.
You are the solution is the deal.
Yeah.
You are the solution.
Yeah, I want to say
solution.
I was delightful every step of the way. If you spoke to my students when I was just teaching, not just, but when I was coaching competitive dancing, I was delightful. I went back and saw my acting manager, and he's like, you were such a hard worker. I knew you'd succeed at whatever you did. It wasn't that I was miserable along the way, but the path is a path of growth. We're on this, it's so exciting to me. We're on this eternal path. We don't have to like die and take on another body in order to continue on the path. We can have many lives in this one lifetime, and not to grieve too much the new life. You know, like we were talking about relationships in one of our programs the other day, and how you, Bonnie was saying, you divorce the relationship that you're in order to start a new relationship with that same person. It's like a new life. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life.
No, and that's such wisdom right there, because that's an identity upgrade. And identities aren't just you, they're couples. Couples is an identity. That's why we call this the Trisbrina Show. And we're just trying to teach all of us, like, hey, look, we are collaborating. Our energies collab, and when they do, it creates a third or fourth. And you're exponentially greater when you come together. That what do they say? Strength in numbers. Together we're
1
stronger.
+ 1 is 11.
Yeah. And that's what makes this show so awesome, is all the people who are here contributing this conversation, whether we're putting it up on the screen or not. We're reading what you're sharing, and you're feeding your energy into this. I say this about our Life Force Dojo. When you come with an intention, your energy is pooling in to the collective energy. And so we're all dialed into that station, and it's exponentially more profound because of how you're showing up. So please know that you matter. Your energy is beautiful, and even working through your problems is totally cool. And we're here. We're here to this is a communing, right? The commune. We're communing in love. This is the only thing that ever is being served up here is love, unconditional love and joy. And if somebody doesn't like resonate with that right now, they will at some point, right? So, but whatever. I guess what I'm saying is only the cool kids are here, right? The people who like this conversation. So thanks for being part of that.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful to be around people. There is a frequent, like the vibration of solution isn't necessarily specific to a particular problem. The vibration of solution is the vibration of possibility, is the vibration of hope, is the vibration of faith.
That's a good one.
Without evidence. So that's why we love each other so much, because we are vibing the same. Whether you have problem X, Y, Z, tree, flower, whatever the problem is, the vibration of the solution is always the same.
I think you just nailed what faith is. It's the vibration of the solution. It's trust. It's the vibration of trust.
Yeah.
Because the solution is always here. Somebody, I was talking to them today, and they were actually talking about grieving, moving from one location, leaving their past of 33 years to come actually to Austin. And so they were processing that. And they were uncertain about the future and where they're going to live and bringing their dogs and different things like that. And I'm like, but the solution already exists. The state of consciousness that is the solution.
We got to send him the show link.
Everything you're looking for is in consciousness is already complete.
Yeah.
All we have to do is align to the solution. This is so good. If you just align to the vibration of the solution, it can find you. Align to the solution, align to the vibration of the solution, so it can find you.
Faith.
It's faith, it's trust, it's 100%, it's active faith. It's not, oh, maybe I'll try, I'll toe dip.
Active faith.
It's not a toe dip. It's like
all in.
I'm aligning to the vibration of the solution so that it may find me. Ooh, it's a rider downer. It's coming through. Hot. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Wait. I'm
hold
not
up.
ready. Like,
what? There's more?
Like, I hope your life will never be the same.
Sometimes it's one pearl.
Because I'm really swimming in this conversation right now.
Yeah.
That the solution is always the same. The solution is alignment. The solution is faith. The solution is trust.
Yeah.
The solution is hugging possibility. Hugging possibility.
Aw, hugging possibility.
Hugging possibility. Scratching possibility's ears. Letting possibility.
Possibility has ears now?
Lick your
they're
face.
Like little mouse ears.
I mean, just seriously feel that for a minute. Can you just hug possibility? Can you hold on to possibility? Because sometimes when we're with the problem, we just need to hold on to something that lets us know everything's going to be okay. Well, don't hug the problem. Hug alignment. Hug the energy. Hug the solution of love.
It's just so good, right? Like we're going to eat our own cooking. I'm writing that one down.
What?
Well, the way it's set, it's like Nancy wrote it in there. Align to the vibration of the solution so it may find me. That's a big deal. Like
never heard this before, guys.
Like that's so good, right? Like you don't have to worry anymore. It's already done. That's what I was telling this person today. I'm like, dude, it's already done in the universe. All you got to do is get out of the way. He goes, yeah, I know, that's the hard part. I got to try. No, it's not hard.
There's multiple possibilities. You want to align to the frequency of possibility.
The one that's most aligned to you and your soul and what's right for you. That's another layer of trust. Because I think sometimes the universe is just, yes, here you go.
Yeah.
And other times it's, yes, but not just yet. And sometimes it's, no, I got something better in mind. Right? Like if you could just lean in and live that, you can't fail. And that's the key. When your vibration is right, you can't fail. All problems become blessings. I know that's hard to take when you're in the middle of it. But if
that's
you
beautiful too, right?
Ride it out, man.
Because that's beautiful too, because we get to practice during those tough times. During those times of grief, during those times of
we haven't felt
struggle, during those times of friction with another person, during those times where things don't seem to be going our way, maybe those are the times you need to feel possibility hugging you.
And hug back.
And hugging back.
That's so, hug back. Like, even through the hard part. Yeah. Hug. Find the vibration of love and hug it. That's you being all in. You know,
That's-
receptive is good, but be active too. Like participate.
Faith.
Hug back.
That word faith. I love the word faith. I love the word faith. Is so active to me.
Yeah.
It is so active. It is not what some people just kind of say, oh, just have faith. No. Be faith.
Be faith.
Be faith. Know like you know.
It's just getting better and better.
Know like you know.
Be faith.
Be
so faith's not something
faith.
you do. Faith is something you be.
Be faith.
Be faith. Oh my God, that's like you become the identity. Maybe your name should be Faith.
I love that.
You like that? If you had a daughter.
I wish I had a daughter named
Oh,
Faith.
you'd name her Faith. Mm-hmm. We'll have an etheric daughter named Faith. Yeah, be Faith. A puppy named Faith. But what if your nickname for yourself was Faith?
Oh.
Right? Your best friend, you know how you have like a twin soul in your heart center? Call her Faith. Call him Trust.
Yeah.
Hero. Right? Have that. Have a Trisbrina concept within yourself.
I do.
Right? Give yourself that identity because that's the blended. Man, you're so golden in that. You're so powerful. You're so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually call her my love or sweetie.
Oh, I say the team. Thanks team. Definitely feel like there's a team here. Wow. Okay. Yes?
Yeah.
You guys good?
What did we learn?
We learned that showing up on Thursday is fun because you never know what's coming through. And the solution lies inside the problem.
I'm so
don't dog your
inspired right
problems.
now. I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired to be faith and to hug possibility, not from a desperation place. I'm not clinging to it. I'm actually hugging it with appreciation.
Gorgeous.
I love the chat's going crazy. Those of you who are
stuff.
here, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I love that. I love Soul School, Bonnie says.
We love being with you guys, hanging out, and this community is so gorgeous, and we're so blessed to hang out with you guys. I mean, if it wasn't for you, what would we do? We just sit in the kitchen and just talk at each other.
We go to Lowe's and buy light bulbs.
Oh, we got to do that. All right, we got to go to Lowe's. We got to go get some light bulbs. All right. Until next time, so much love to you.
Oh, we didn't do our picture.
Yes, we did.